Space Action Podcast with your hosts Chris Carson and DC and Shama.
Alright, man, so diving right into it. Episode 8.
Right into episode 8.
The Last Jedi. Written by Rian Johnson.
Directed by Rian Johnson.
The first time it's been since like the prequels, right? It's been like
written and directed by?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was desperate for his Iris Out written and directed by.
Right.
He would say and do anything for his Iris Out written and directed by. Yes, Kathleen. Anything you'd like, Kathleen.
Yeah. I'm gonna do my best to represent like the people who enjoy it, because like otherwise we're just gonna piss in the mouth in this movie.
It's gonna be the two of us just both bitching. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do my best to represent like the people. Like I've read my second view on that movie, I read every conceivable article about like why this movie's like, well, how it, blah blah blah. So I went in with my expectations lowered and with a really positively trying to reinforce that perspective, and I can see parts of it, but we'll get into it.
I remember you texted me when you went to the bathroom during it, and we're like, "This is what the fuck is happening?"
So I haven't seen it all since it came out. What was your play-by-play? Like going to, because I think you, like everybody else, had like, you were like, okay, yeah, this is going to be the dark broodings follow up Force Awakens.
And then I heard, that's the thing is I started to hear not great things about it. So
just online?
Yeah, just like early reviews and stuff, because it was like 99% professional critics, which that's a whole other podcast to talk about how useless professional critics are in the 21st century. But then I was just watching the audience score plummet, because I didn't see it on opening night. And so I went in with lowered expectations, and usually when you go in with lowered expectations, the movie's better than you expected.
Sure, yeah.
And this matched my lowered expectations quite perfectly. And as soon as Poe Dameron started like riffing with him, I realized it almost felt like watching Shia LaBeouf swing.
Yes.
With the whatever the
or
fuck.
more accurately, the CGI groundhog pop out of the
out. And you're like, wait.
Yeah, oh no.
This is where this is going?
Yeah.
And then by the time Leia was floating through space, I was just... it got to where I was like literally rolling my head. Yeah. Especially when the movie ended, and then it kept going. Like, the movie ended... And Snoke was dead. By the way, this is going to be full of spoilers, but I'm assuming everyone's seen it.
Dude, it's about to be on video.
Yeah. But Snoke was dead, and the fight was over, and they were on the planet, and I was like, oh, thank God, it's over. And then it just kept going.
Another half hour.
It really felt like this was like Rian Johnson's fanfic for a prequel movie that he like dusted off, and was like, "Oh, the First Order is now inexplicably the Empire, and the Resistance are now the Rebels, and we're going to show what probably should have happened in Episode 3."
Yeah, but. I get. Oh, I see what you're saying. So, like, you're saying that that's his version of Revenge of the Sith.
This kind of feels like Rian Johnson's fanfic. Yeah, I would have done the prequels this way, he kind of retooled it to be a sequel.
I'm really doing a bad job being the guy supposed to be representing the people who like this movie.
You know what? Fuck it.
But I'll say this much. That was one of the biggest problems I had with this movie, was when it ended, we're literally left of a ragtag group of rebels fighting a galactic empire. I'm like, okay, so in a world where we're trying to subvert people's expectations and reinvent Star Wars, we're back to the first movie?
But I love that it really feels like Disney's really starting to realize they bought a property that is one story. Yeah. And they're like, how the shit do we make this into a million movies for the next 100 years?
See, Marvel has the luxury of being like... We have
all these characters, all these
and
places.
Each character has his own universe. But
Star Wars is Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's Empire, Rebels, Jedi.
And the irony
Scoundrels.
is, they seem to be kind of scared to go outside the core characters. Like, that's the one thing I also don't buy about...
The archetype characters?
Well, that's what I don't buy about this movie, about we trying to subvert your expectations and reinvent Star Wars. I'm like, then why did you use all the tropes that are in every single Star Wars movie?
Exactly.
You're trying to make the best Star Wars movie while not trying to make one. I don't understand that logic. So all of a sudden, they're like, after that's done, it's like, okay, what's your next move? We're making the Han Solo prequel.
Yeah.
Dude, aim outside the scope. Oh, well, fanboys, they don't want to see anything outside the... That's not true for 3 decades.
And we're bringing in Ronnie Howard to finish it off.
For 3 decades, we read books about every peripheral character, new characters, the Old Republic. We read fucking stories about the Cantina Band. Yeah. The Bith, the Jizz players, or whatever the fuck they're called.
Well, I love people that say that this is... like such a huge risk for Disney and for Star Wars. It's like it's the exact opposite. It's the safest they could possibly be.
Way. Yeah.
And I'm totally for subverting expectations,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm totally for like going, oh, I didn't see that coming if it's done well.
Right.
And this was just like every creative choice by Rian Johnson, every little thing, like even Luke brushing his shoulder off. Like these are all little moments that came from Rian Johnson, and every single one of them I thought was just atrocious.
There I saw one interview with him where he was just like, oh, you know what the craziest thing is? I started writing this movie before the end of Force Awakens even happened, before they even finished shooting, and I submitted the first draft, and we shot that. I'm like, yeah, no shit. That's why there's no overarching themes or character arcs that carry through at all in this
apparently,
movie.
he threw out J.J. Abrams' treatment for it. He just went, meh. And this feels like an end of a trilogy, too.
Yeah.
But I just want to quickly go over the fact that in this universe, 30 years of peace and prosperity, and then over the course of about 5 days, this like neo-Nazi group that's been hiding in South America shows up. They're utterly defeated. Their super weapon is destroyed, but then inexplicably they now control the universe.
They're on the run? The good guys
are on the run because I guess because they blew up not Coruscant, so that means that now the First Order is the new Empire. I guess, but they just wanted to kind of shoehorn in the old Star Wars, concepts of Empire and Rebels. But they just lost Starkiller Base.
Right.
They should be on the run.
Right.
But just the opening crawl says, no, actually.
Yeah.
And then it ends with like a little slave kid sweeping the floor thinking like, Luke Skywalker, my hero. And was that like a week later?
The whole movie, and that's the timeline of this movie drives me nuts.
It takes place over like a day.
They keep saying repeatedly, like Rose has that little thing on her watching. There's 8 hours left to fuel. Fran, we have 8 hours left to fuel. Meanwhile, we see Rey on that planet for
a
3
couple
days.
Yeah.
So are days on that planet just like 4 hours long? What am I missing here?
Was that Rian Johnson trying to recreate the fact that Luke was on Dagobah for like a year?
Well,
and then Han and Leia were just running around for a day?
And that's something that a lot of, OG fans don't think of, is the Empire kind of has that fault too. But I always kind of just assume later on, like, listen, Irvin Kershner's a fucking genius, so screw you.
Maybe they stayed in that space slug for like a week.
That's what I was thinking.
You know what I mean?
Whenever there's a part, right after they break loose from the back of the Star Destroyer Bespin, it's pretty far, but I think we can make it.
Yeah.
After that, we go to Dagobah. Luke has the vision about them. We cut to the Falcon arriving on Cloud City.
That could have been like 2-3 weeks of travel. Yeah.
I kept thinking, like, maybe that was a month. Like, we don't fucking know.
Who knows?
Like, it could have been a goddamn year for all we know. Maybe they just have the same outfits on the Falcon.
Han never changes his outfit.
They got a lot. There's this. We don't see the awkward day where they all stand around in their underwear while their shit's in the washer dryer.
Yeah. And Chewie's just licking himself. Like
Chewie's all naked.
Episode 8, though, one of the most damning things I think about it was they tried to create contemporary parallels to our world. And that doesn't work for Star Wars in my mind. Like, I don't want to go see my big fun space action movie and hear about warmongering profiteers.
Well, that was... And... Like I was gonna say, because when you said, like, the original Star Wars is rife with that. Like, the Empire's clearly just space Nazis. And, like, the whole idea, there are little, or, like, the Ewoks are clearly the Vietnamese. Like, they didn't have a ton of, weaponry, but my god, did they kick them.
But it's so broad.
It's very broad.
It's
not as on the nose as, like, don't you see, Finn? There's people who profit on both sides.
The original trilogy was a lot of what fans ended up putting onto it, because, like, at its core, the original trilogy was trying to be Greek mythology or the Bible. Or it was trying to be Arthurian myths. Yeah. It was just trying to be the new mythology. And then people were like, oh, well, the Republicans are the Empire. And it's like, you're kind of putting that on to it. Sure. Because there's such classic themes that they do in that level apply to contemporary life.
But never.
But episode 8 was... Yeah, episode 8 was pure, like, on the nose...
It's the part where...
That's what Star Trek is for.
Can we pause and talk about... If you jumped at the DeLorean and went back to 1997 and you told me Benicio del Toro was going to be in a Star Wars movie, I would have lost my... I'm like, dude, Fenster's going to be in a Star Wars movie? This is going to be amazing.
Stuttering his way through the
second he started going... I'm like, why would he be good? Yeah. The rest of this movie's been a dumpster fire. Why would that
change it?
Oh, it drove me nuts. Like, that was the thing that got me the most, was just... I love that man. I think every performance he turns in, he has a way of making it his own. And I'm just watching...
And I guess in this case it was his tick.
What is that? what is that?
I'm surprised, like, certain, like, insane... Because everyone gets offended by everything these days.
That's what I thought.
I'm surprised, like, the Stutterers for America or something.
I was waiting for the backlash, like, Last Jedi misrepresents the community, like...
Yeah. Oh, wait, I want to get this out of the way, too. My theory that I've told you...
By the way, weird as shit. Anyone who likes this movie at this point listening to this, like, trying to find something, like, let's see what these people have to say. They're like, these are the fanboys that we're fucking talking about.
Let's be honest. Anyone who loves this movie is probably... We're now in a world where we've been being fed McDonald's for so long, we don't understand what steak tastes like anymore.
Right.
So it's like just go expand your palate. Watch other things.
Let me put it this way, because I don't want to say anyone who likes Last Jedi is a fucking moron, because that just is a backhanded compliment to myself. So let me put it this way: it wasn't for me. If you liked this movie, good for you. Like, honestly, that's fine. Like, it just wasn't for me.
I'm gonna take the hard approach and say the movie sucked.
Okay, but like, hear me out. Like, what I saw in that film was not what was presented in those trailers.
No, not at all.
You know?
No.
I didn't see Finn walk around in a squirty bodysuit. I didn't see BB-8 shooting coins out and going, blowing on it like an Old West. I didn't see him driving an Imperial Walker.
That was R2 prequel level.
You know what I'm
bullshit.
saying? Yeah, where I was like, you made this amazing puppet in the first one that was all practical effects, and then you just go full CGI.
Everything he was doing was so... Like, everything he did you could compare to a scene from, like, Revenge of the Sith of R2.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like, why didn't they send R2 up against the Emperor?
There's a shot that drives me nuts. It makes me want to put a fucking pencil through my throat. Whenever he's shooting the people with the coins,
right,
and they cut to Benicio del Toro, and he's literally doing this goofy Looney Tunes dance with the boots around his neck. He's got Google eyes, and he's making this jackass face. It was like Ryan Johnson's like, you like that?
Oh,
you like that? Ooh, you like that?
It confuses me so much because Looper was 100% him.
Yeah.
And every choice in that movie is amazing. Yeah. So I honestly think that Ryan Johnson
knows how to take direction.
He was so desperate for an Iris Out John Williams music written and directed by my fucking name that he said yes to everything.
That's how you get a trilogy, dude.
That's how you get a trilogy. He said yes to everything.
Yeah.
But wait, I want to throw this out here. Sorry.
Okay, but if you like Last Jedi, I could totally understand the part. Like I said, I read every article. I do agree that like this movie did what no other Star Wars movie did, but in a very
prequel-y way.
Not even the prequels, because the prequels felt at least a little bit original.
Oh, they were completely original.
You know what I mean?
So great.
Like,
and I'm using finger quotes right now. Great
of
them.
In the middle of the Phantom Menace, there's a race scene. I didn't see that shit coming. Oh, Dylan Scott had a great point. He's like, in the scene whenever they're in the casino and you see the wall shake. He was like, is it bad that at that point I thought the movie was so bad I was severely hoping there was going to be a pod race?
Yeah.
But like,
I don't remember. Was it implied that there was pod racing on that planet?
No.
I thought there was like a racetrack in the distance or something. I remember
those were horses that they rode, Carson. The horses
the
with the puppy faces.
Horse things. You know what? Even if everyone dies, it was all about this.
Now it's worth it. We saved a pony.
It's all about these pony things that they'll round up and take back.
By the way, everybody, if we take this 30-minute scene out of the film entirely, it doesn't change the plot at all.
No, what we got to touch on the fact that nothing changes the plot at all. But you'll finish your thought first because literally,
we got to. I want to give this movie some props because there are moments in it that I do like. One, first and foremost, I think it's pretty relevant because the man just got his star on the Walk of Fame. Mark Hamill, dude, like I
like what they did with Luke.
This is the picture I wanted to put, by the way, as a caption.
Okay,
is a screenshot of him saying with the subtitles, I fundamentally disagree with every choice made. And then underneath, a picture of him sucking down that green milk out of the tit with that angry look on it. That was it. That's what he was thinking. He's like, I fundamentally disagree with this. I fucking hate you.
That was so kabuki, where he was like, and he had his mustache full of milk. You're like, what is happening?
Whenever they showed the monster, I was like, it's gonna have tits. And like, it manifested itself. I was like, no.
That was one of the
He's gonna milk it.
Yeah, that was one of my many, what the fuck is happening?
It was a little like watching the Pirate sequels. I was just like,
Pirates 4.
Yeah, I was like, wow, we're going there?
Yeah.
All right.
It was a lot of parallels I can draw to watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yes, absolutely. Just like the bottom falling out of your stomach, like, oh my god, no.
This is happening?
Oh my god, no.
Oh,
There's a couple times I just grabbed Christine's arm and I was just like, why is this Why is this happening?
Why is Leia floating in space? Which I want to get into that. I want to get into that.
But for the positives, I thought the way he did that, the way he played this tortured, damaged Luke Skywalker.
Perfect for Luke. He was born of, like, if you look at the whole saga, he is the son of something created by the dark side of the Force. So he's going to have, and I love, he's totally flawed, and that's totally believable that he would have that moment of, should I just kill this guy?
It took me a while to come around to it, but
that's totally believable.
Perfect. It makes perfect
sense.
And
the fact that he didn't, but then it's all about
the fact
perception.
that's the only scene you see him use that green lightsaber. That green lightsaber is just wrought with bad decisions.
Yeah,
like, it's kind of awesome.
And he just has that one weak moment, like how he had in Jedi, that one weak moment of wailing on his father, and then he realized. So he had that one moment of that, and then it passed.
Yeah, but
and everyone complains about that. It's like, that's perfect.
No, that's
for
perfect,
Luke.
and I love the way it's just enough for Ben to be. It gives that motive for that dude to be like, "Fuck this guy, I'm going to kill him."
It's all about perception.
That's perfect. I was like, that's actually pretty brilliant. Like,
you can there are grander, more intelligent themes present in this movie, but they're so watered down.
Let's go through all of them.
They're so watered down.
Oh, dude, you're preaching the choir. Trust me. But like, what else I love about this movie? Yeah, I thought Daisy Ridley too. I thought she was fucking great because she had to play off of Luke in a weird, cute, naive way, but still be kind of hard badass. We got Davey. We got a cameo by a Davey.
We got a kitty trying to get in on the action.
Hold on. Davey, what'd you think? And then what else? Well, that's not true. That's pretty racist, actually.
That's a little racist, Davey. I was about to say that.
You're off the podcast. Oh. I thought she was really... Dude, that scene, which leads into the third thing I love. I love that scene in the throne room. I fucking love the throne room scene. I thought it was really well done. Just the idea of, like... Dude, they got to have their return in the Jedi movie. Young fool, it was I who bridged your connection.
Which is odd for the second film, but yeah.
Yeah, fine.
It was just out of place. I do agree that, like, zoomed in on it, that was a fun scene.
I'm talking about moments, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not over.
Exactly.
No, I'm talking about, if it works on paper. I thought
zoom out and you're like, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why is this? He's dead? Snoke's dead?
But that throne room scene, I thought was really, really... That was, like, so Star Wars-y. The idea that these two are connected... And that he manipulated him, knowing full well that Ben's a little bitch. He's like, I know he was going to be a pussy about it.
He's kind of been trying to get Rey the whole time.
It's so good. I'm like, that was actually pretty clever writing, dude.
Ben was the unattractive person that the person shows attention to get the hot person.
Exactly. And, like, you see it on his face, that betrayal. Like, oh, you believe that betrayal. He's going to kill that dude. That is awesome.
Yeah.
The way they shot that lightsaber fight, like, for the first time ever, it wasn't, like, staged... ballet movies.
I really loved lightsaber fight from Force Awakens, though. That wasn't staged ballet either.
No, but like the way they staged this one was like a gym, and we just moved the camera through everyone hits their marks. It looked like a samurai movie.
Yeah,
it went back.
There was a lot of samurai.
Oh yeah, even like their outfits, the Praetorian Guards outfits. I thought that was really, really cool. And again, one of those moments where I was like, okay, Ryan, I get it. You read the book about what George Lucas read before he made Star Wars.
Yeah.
You saw Kurosawa on there. You're trying to drop some Japanese
put as much as you can in.
I get
it. A little too much, in my opinion.
Yes,
but yeah.
A little too much.
A little too much like our world. Star Wars should not be like our world.
Exactly, yeah. Dude, battering ram cannon.
Yeah.
Just
using Death Star tech.
Just walk yourself through that logic.
Yeah.
In Star Wars, where if you go back hundreds of thousands of years, they still have spaceships. They have battering... How long ago were battering rams that you still remember them? Why would you just call it a big-ass cannon?
Can I interject for a moment and also say that Rose stopped Finn, even though Laura Dern's death...
Sacrificed.
Helped everyone involved.
Number 4 thing I liked in that movie that I thought was honestly, probably one of the best cinematic action sequences in a Star Wars movie. Hyperspacing through the Supremacy, cutting the audio, and that
silence,
beautiful, just stark imagery. It's insane. And what I love the most about it, I read an article and they nailed it on the head. In an era where everyone's stuck on their phones and separated, what I loved about that moment, watching it in the theater, every time, the audio drops out and you get to hear everyone just go,
you just feel everyone,
it was such a unified...
tuned it to a communal experience.
Yeah, it really unified people. I'm like, dude, I'll give that to Rian Johnson the day I die. That's one of the most genius moves as a director.
Great moment to end the movie on.
Exactly. Is it going to have a huge consequence to anything? No. There's still going to be a big space battle later.
So where are they getting this giant fleet?
And last, what I'll end it on... Adam Driver.
Oh yeah, he's great. Aside from his sweaty nipples,
I didn't like seeing his sweaty fucking Ben Swallow tits. But
did they CGI him to make him thicker?
No, I think that he's just built like that. I watched Logan Lucky, and he only has one arm, and he is a very listen. I think he's a terrific actor. But he's got to know that, like, he gets cast a lot because of his physique. He's really tall, small head, huge chest. His
body is like 4 of his heads wide.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Maybe, like, he got, like, the workout regimen wrong and he saw, like, you know, bench presses and did way too many. And they're like, you didn't do any, like, leg exercises or anything with your abs.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. No, it's fine. Don't worry. No.
Adam Driver he's a great actor, so he does the best what he can do.
One of my favorite
One
of my favorite lines in all of Star Wars is always gonna be, I want every gun to fire on that. Just like how angry he is, the way he says, you could hear him just
the twitch,
the roiling rage in his voice. It's so good.
It would have been a lot better if Luke had actually been there, because if you're I get he's trying to build a legend. But if we're going to explore new aspects of the Force in the sense that he can astral project his image across the galaxy, then wouldn't it have been equally fine for all those lasers to have blasted him, the smoke cleared, and he's just holding his hand up, and they're all frozen in front of him?
That would have been really cool.
That would have been really awesome.
Really
but instead
great.
we get him basically playing like Jedi Grand Theft Auto, where he's made an avatar of himself that looks better than himself.
The irony is, Star Wars is a movie that's meant to be rewatched. All the fans can tell you the name of every single bounty hunter.
I can't see myself watching this movie.
No, hear me out. Every fan can rewatch every Star Wars movie. They can tell you the name of every bounty hunter on the board of the Executor. So we have an attention to detail. It's built into our brains. We're looking for probe droids in the background, references to the other movies. We're listening for the numbers 1138.
Was there any 1138s in this?
I don't think so.
Sorry.
But you show me a scene where Mark Hamill walks in with a dyed beard, holding a lightsaber that just got broken. I'm like, that's a projection.
Yeah.
There's no way that's not...
Why wouldn't he have had his green lightsaber? He lost because he was projecting himself as post-Jedi Luke.
I guess
when he would have had his green lightsaber.
I guess the idea... I don't know.
I don't know.
There's so much about that scene, and it's...
I think it's just to tip the audience off that something's up, but I think we kind of got that from his horrible dyed beard.
And that outfit's sweet, though. That black and white Jedi outfit that he wears.
Except there's one shot where he's standing... kind of bow-legged with his lightsaber out, the wind's blowing the
flat back flap.
The back flap, and he looks like a Weeble people. He looks like he has the tiniest little chimpanzee legs and then this big thick middle, and it's so adorable. Because I didn't, because it's illegal, download things, but but I paused it on that shot of him standing with like the lightsaber presented in front of him with his legs apart, and he just looks like these two little toothpicks and this tomato sitting on top. And he's so adorable looking.
He is an adorable man. I love that movie.
Whoever the cinematographer was should have maybe looked at that angle before using that shot.
That's another thing that really takes me out of a flick these days, and it's happening more and more and more, is anytime I can tell that these two actors are both on a green screen, neither in the same room, and these were probably shot several months apart.
I was getting some prequel vibes from this.
Oh, that whole scene, I'm just like, dude, you're killing me. Like, couldn't you just gone to the Utah sand?
You're right.
And it's gone a two-shot.
And then digitally put in the red under the sand.
I'm like, it bugged the shit out of me.
Wait, I gotta get into my Leia theory.
Go for it.
So, because it was a 100-day shoot, and I've told you this before, but for anyone listening, it was a 100-day shoot for The Last Jedi, and on day 50-ish, Laura Dern was cast. So it wasn't like her schedule started then. She was literally cast about 50-ish days into shooting. My theory is, and everything she does in that movie is what Leia would have done with Poe. Everything. Mm-hmm. So I really do think that they were getting the dailies back, and Disney and LucasArts were going, oh, Carrie Fisher's tanking this.
I agree.
And so they brought in her to do... That's why they killed her off at the end and put Carrie Fisher in a space coma.
Yeah.
because she was just tanking it. She just wasn't succeeding. And we'll never know because documentaries on movies now are fluff pieces. Mm-hmm. You remember back when documentaries were actually film school, essentially?
Yeah. They had an entire different crew. It wasn't like Disney paid
you saw,
a bunch of
you
people.
saw all the wrinkles, you saw the fights and the ups and the downs, and now documentaries on discs are like, well, we just love Star Wars. And
I bet you're really wondering how we made that tit milk creature.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not.
It's like, I don't want to watch your fluff shit. You used to not need to go to film school by watching making of documentaries. Now they're just basically extensions of the promos, of the promotional material.
I can't stand watching any documentary. It's just such a pleasure and an honor to watch.
It's just jerking themselves off.
It really is.
Everything's great. No one ever fought.
No, I never had a problem with the script.
No problems. Never. Kathleen Kennedy's amazing.
I saw one interview with Daisy Ridley, and they were just like, "So how do you feel about it?" And she's like, "It's great." I'm like, and the interviewer just goes, "Yeah, it's great. Let's move on." Anyways,
but anyways, that's my theory.
I'll agree with that.
We'll never have it. We'll never find out the truth though, because we don't have in-depth looks at movies anymore.
It feels like a really shoehorned role.
It really does,
especially I do like that one scene, and I read somewhere that Carrie and her. Laura Dern wrote it, and that scene where they
their
sing
little
lesbian
hug.
Yeah, it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute.
But I remember I watched it because as soon as Laura Dern showed up, that thought went through my head because I remember there was a comingsoon.net article that I'd read about her being cast so late in production. So I immediately thought of that, and so when I was watching their goodbye scene, it almost felt like, "Hey, you, that's me. Thanks for doing this role. Now go die." Just
needlessly stay behind
and die.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It
was so odd.
It did feel really strange. Because I thought for sure the second they introduced her, she would at least be an overarching character, and they kill her off, and I'm like, shouldn't that have been Leia?
That should 100% have been Leia.
There's so much. I was just like, it felt like someone just got the thing. I don't know.
But I know everyone loves Carrie Fisher, but she's not a great actor. She really isn't, and age doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I like about her, though. She's Hunter S. Thompson, man. She's not meant to be
just all fucked up.
Oh yeah, like dude, what I love the most. There was a deleted scene that they took from Force Awakens that it kills me. You can find on YouTube of her just being. I can't remember what they say. One of the rebel texts is like, "Isn't that kind of nuts, General Leia?" She's like, "Maybe it's because I'm crazy. Maybe it's because I don't care. I don't know." But just the way she says it, I'm like, "Oh, that was not Leia at all. That was pure Carrie.
Yeah, it was pure, just unhinged Carrie."
Oh
Fisher.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Here's the thing that bugs me the most, man, is for the first time ever, because even through the prequels, I always was looking forward to the next Star Wars movie. Because I wanted to see the Canadian boy be put in the Darth Vader costume. I want to see Obi-Wan and Anakin fight on a volcano. I was promised
what is there now?
Now that Luke's dead, maybe we'll get a ghost.
Horrible choice.
Han's. I don't understand why they did it.
Absolutely terrible.
Han's dead. Leia's literally dead.
Literally dead. So I bet you the next one will open with a funeral.
That'd be the smart move.
Apparently that's why they fired Colin Trevorrow from episode 9, is because he got bitchy about wanting to keep Luke alive. And because he was like, I have a whole plan for him. Which sounds great. I bet you involved a cool sacrifice. I bet you involved something better than looking like he was taking a constipated shit on the side of a mountain and passing out, Jesus style, and then disappearing into a ghost.
It's not that. Okay, the problem is I have with that movie. It's again what I said earlier about it. If it works on paper, I don't mind. As long as if it works on paper, it can work. I've been comparing that movie a lot to probably my favorite movie. No, Get Out was my favorite movie of last year.
Oh, Get Out! I just watched that recently. So good.
Oh, dude, we could do a whole podcast on Get Out.
So good.
I love that movie. But my second favorite probably is Logan. So. Thing about it.
So good as well.
We have an old man who used to be an adventurer with a whole team, and most of the team's dead now.
He's broken.
He's broken. He cast himself out. All of a sudden, this girl shows up and just needs her to do this one last job. And he's like, "No, every time I do it, people get hurt, people die. I'm not going to do it anymore."
And then but he does do the job.
At the end, he sacrifices his life. He realizes if he does this one last thing, he gives a new generation a whole new thing of hope. Yeah. So he sacrifices his life, and he does it. One of these movies pulled it off really well.
Honestly, I have...
One of these movies is The Last Jedi.
I do. I don't understand it at all. Because you're going to kill Luke no matter what. So I don't understand at all why it was a forced projection.
Yes.
Because that lessened it entirely.
Yes.
But wait, that
you
also...
know what it is? I heard one theory. I think it was Mark Bernard, who's one of my favorite podcasters out there. Shout out to Mark Bernard. Said the idea of Jedi's being tricksters, which I kind of like. Like, Ben Kenobi's walking around doing mind tricks, and Qui-Gon's doing mind tricks.
You're going to sacrifice any kind of actual emotional connection by the audience?
Well, because he doesn't want to give Ben the satisfaction of killing him, because that just pushes him closer to the
They
dark
shouldn't
side.
have killed him, though. He should have showed up in person. I mean, I don't want to be one of these rewriting the fucking movie on a podcast guys, but killing him
Here's
off...
how I would have done it.
Killing him off was the stupidest idea ever. He should have, even if he didn't want him in episode 9, he could have been off somewhere else.
Stayed on the planet.
Just stayed on the planet.
Stayed on the planet.
But killing him off just... So now, this has just been a funeral march of movies so far.
Yeah, I know.
We lost Han, now we've lost Admiral Akbar and Luke.
What kind of bums me out, too, the most, is when I watch the originals, is... You'd like to think that people learn from their mistakes and...
Oh, that's a point I want to make.
You know what I mean? You see where I'm going with this? About, like... It's kind of weird watching the original trilogy and seeing Luke look at those twin sunsets and being like, yeah, don't leave, buddy. Because you fail again, and everything goes right back to the way it is right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because Disney doesn't know how to make Star Wars movies.
Exactly. And or I see Han and Leia about to kiss. I'm like, don't bother, because you make a monster. Like,
And just die.
Oh, you
Yeah.
all are failures. You're a shitty fucking father. You're a shitty Jedi. All of you are shitty people.
And you can float in space for some reason.
Yeah, this whole franchise is about failure now.
Yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
your heroes fail. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, God. Like, what a weird tone.
That was what the prequel trilogy was supposed to be about, leading into the Empire for the sequel trilogy. But you think the sequel trilogy would have a little more hope.
I had a theory for a while there that right before Last Jedi came out, I think I might have told you about it, how the first trilogies, trust me, I'm not talking about the merits of it.
No,
overall, as a three-trilogy
it's
structure...
amazing that it's one man's vision, but it's just a shame that one man's vision sucked.
As a three-trilogy structure, the first one is all about it's a Greek tragedy of how fear can destroy yourself, destroy an individual and the people around him who love him.
Fear, self-doubt.
And self-doubt. The next one is about hope and redemption, about like what to do to get over that pain and move forwards. And then the next one I like the thing about this trilogy was supposed to be about reconciliation. Like Force Awakens. Force Awakens starts with everyone literally scavenging off the past, like trying to make sense of like all this broken shit. But as the movie goes on,
the next one resets it back to the shit.
But no, I'm talking about before Last Jedi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
This whole like idea, like they're literally
where it was going to go.
Yeah. It really felt like this thing about like, okay, we're all damaged individuals who are running from something. How do we now reconcile and move forwards? This one, it
threw all that out the window like a J.J. Abrams draft.
Like it really felt like again. Like a guy who started making a movie without the first one being completed.
Yeah,
on the
didn't
first
follow
draft.
any of the
didn't
notes.
Just didn't follow. I have no problem with Rey's parents being nobody.
Oh no, that was great.
Obi-Wan's parents were nobody, but the way it was presented, no one. I don't want to be that guy who rewrites a movie on a podcast, but how much more profound it would have been if just on the planet Luke just says, your parents aren't anybody. You don't belong here. I understand why you're trying.
It does fuck up the setup of the Excalibur calling her. The fact that she's not in any way part of this story. It's interesting in terms of like a movie in itself, episode 8 in and of itself, going, oh, she's no one, neat. But at the same time, it completely null and voids the Force Awakens approach to her. So it's almost like they have no plan for these movies.
It really is, and that's the other part I was going to make is remember back whenever they pushed it back to December, they threw out Art's script. And they're like, JJ's rewriting it. Yeah. I was like, uh-oh. There's no way that's good news. And you end up with a movie that's packed with all these expectations. Who are our parents?
Yeah,
why is the
all the
lightsaber
mystery boxes.
All the mystery boxes. And it's just like, why did you make it so top-heavy?
Yeah.
Like, Star Wars was a standalone film that luckily got a sequel. Why did you make this top of this trilogy so... The expectation was insane that no wonder the guy was like, fuck you. Yeah. I'm not doing any of that.
Well, they made it top heavy and then they completely threw everything out to make a sequel that then ended the trilogy.
Yeah.
Because the next one can't pick up 5 minutes later. The next one's going to be like 10 years later, which almost feels like it should have been the next trilogy.
In terms of bookending the trilogy, would be kind of cool if it was like Phantom Menace 10 years later, the prequels, blah, blah, blah. Then they could go, this movie 10 years later, the last film.
The last one.
I wouldn't mind seeing...
Or are they going to be trilogies anymore? Do you think
I think the plan, they said 9. I think is still...
So
as far as I know, 9 is still the end point. Like, they can change that at any moment.
Yeah, who knows?
They're
going to stick with it, yeah.
If they did 12.
It's going to be episode 9, 10 are going to be like
Actually,
still these
no,
characters,
we
and then
know.
11
They
will be
announced
something
it
else.
already. They got Ryan's got his trilogy, and then they're doing the Star Wars stories in between. So there's no room for.
But his trilogy is not related. It's not an episode.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. So like 9's the end.
Oh, so then there's going to be no more episodes after
I don't
9.
think so. That's the end of the Skywalker stories.
That's very odd.
It's a weird place to like. You know, see what I'm saying? Like,
So Skywalker's bloodline is going to end. So he was created from the dark side of the Force and ended with a vicious monster. So any kind of redemption really doesn't. Even though Lucas himself, I'm not going to give a lot of praise to Lucas because he did fuck up those prequels and Return of the Jedi. When you really look at it, he's always said the basis of Star Wars is redemption.
yeah.
But I guess not anymore.
Apparently, it's learning that you can't fix shit and to move on, like, which I think is a weird message to
It's a weird message. But I want to touch briefly on the fact that I don't, like, none of the characters affected the plot of Episode 8.
No.
None of them.
They're
Rey
just
a little bit,
Yeah.
by lifting some rocks to let the rebels out at the
They're
end.
all just watching shit happen.
And, yeah, because the entire plot line with fucking Finn, who is...
Oh my god, you're right.
They
The only
ruined
thing
Finn.
of relevance that happens in that movie is that the supremacy tracks the rebel thing, and
That's
that pursues the plot. But like that was just
The characters
that
have
was just
no
the Navy
influence on
doing
it.
its job.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with anyone.
And I get that, like, and anyone...
oh my god!
Anyone listening to this will be like, well, the whole theme of the movie was about learning from failure. And I'm like, I get that, but it doesn't mean that you have to make your characters completely
Inept.
unrelevant to how the events occur.
Wow.
Because nothing they did would have changed anything that happened.
Even the closest
At
thing
all.
that could have happened is like Poe's like, I'm gonna create a rebellion, I'm gonna take these ships, and then he gets tased.
And he gets tased.
And everything keeps going the way it was going.
Yeah. So
It
it's
almost
like,
like he
no,
did it-
the characters didn't affect the plot at all. And
It's almost like he did it intentionally, like, no, I'm gonna make nothing happen.
It's like he was trolling us.
It
Rian
really-
Johnson
from
was trolling
second
us.
one, dude, I remember one, and this is nitpicky again. I can hear people being like, "This is what fanboys think," but every fucking Star Wars movie pans down from the scroll, and we have some sort of space scene. First,
Usually thematically reminiscent of what the story's about, too.
Oh, I like your theories. Tell them about this. This is really cool.
Well, it's
I like
just
this.
it ends with Jedi, because the Jedi is when it starts going off the rails.
Yes.
It's because Star Wars...
with this franchise.
Yeah, it's interesting watching things we love slowly die off one by one.
And like it was a weird one. Like Christine said it best when we left the theater. She was like, "Wow, so I guess I know what it's like to live through the prequels." Like, yeah, you got the full Star Wars
You got it,
experience
yeah.
now, dude.
There
Like
it is. I do take the side of, I think, people who really love this movie. It's a double thing. I'm not going to say you're an asshole for loving this movie, but maybe, just maybe, you've been eating a little too much McMovies. Because, like, from the McMovie perspective, I'm sure there was a lot of depth in this movie, quote unquote, but just watch, like, just watch any other movie that isn't made by Disney or Fox or Universal, and you're going to see...
massive asshole.
You're just going to see
It
how...
sounds like you're losing so many people.
No,
right
well,
now.
fuck them. Because this is such a shallow movie. It's such a two-dimensional shallow movie with themes that are so broad and heavy.
with great
like,
performances.
but
on
they
top.
literally have to have Yoda go, learn through failure, we do. It's
Okay,
like,
we missed
get
Yoda
it?
of it all.
Get
Why
it?
Was he... Yoda's a very distinct color of green.
That was a horrible puppet. I
What
get
was
that
up
they
with
did
that
a puppet,
puppet?
but it was horrible.
Like, I have no... Dude, I miss Puppet Yoda. I sincerely did. At least I thought I did. But that one, I've seen side-by-side comparisons, it's like he was in the microwave too long and his face just squished
His
a little
eyes were
bit.
too small, too.
It didn't look right, man. They were like, we got the original molds. I'm like, did ya?
No.
Or did they just tell you that they did? Because that thing looks like it was
Yeah.
created from memory, dude.
But to finish my what makes me an asshole thought, apparently, is that it honestly, I think in 10 years it's going to be like people who love the prequels, where they're going to like look back and go, oh, wait, right, this is an incredibly shallow movie with incredibly two-dimensional characters that have these incredibly broad themes of failure they beat you over the head with to make it like... Disney, to me, is like a magic show. And I've said this to you before, where they are really great at tricking you once, but the second time you see the trick, you start going, oh, that's how they did it,
Yep.
and then it loses all its luster.
I lived through that with the Pirates trilogy.
Yeah.
Because that first one completely took me by surprise. I swear to this day that's one of the best movies.
Oh, I
of
love
the
the...
past 10 years.
I'm the guy who likes the second one.
I love the scope of the second one.
And the music, and Davy
dude,
Jones.
Dude,
And...
Zimmer's scores insane on that one. I love the scope of that one. How like they went to like Dominica and shot these insane locations that no one's ever even set
Really
foot on
pissed
before,
off the natives
and
of one of the
and
islands.
paved
Yeah.
over a bunch of land that will never get back again.
Never, ever.
Thanks, Gore.
Yeah.
But
What? Pirates!
the time you get to the third one, they're in a maelstrom. You're starting to feel like,
yeah,
okay,
no.
there's no way I can't. I can't.
I can't connect to this at
No,
all.
there's a giant lady on the boat. I can't defend this anymore.
No, the third one went off the rails to the point where you couldn't, like, as an audience member, you couldn't put yourself in, you couldn't live vicariously through it, and also if you weren't even trying to do that, it was just so much insanity,
And
that you couldn't connect with it on any level.
And that's how I felt about Last Jedi.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just crazy sensationalistic. Like, I remember the opening, like you said, whenever
With
he's
Yo
ma-
Mama jokes.
he's making Yo Mama jokes. I was like, okay, listen, I'm not saying you can't put a Yo Mama joke in a
I'm going to go
any
ahead
movie.
and say that.
But in a
Star
Star
Wars
Wars movie, you got to realize, like, and I know this movie was going to subvert expectations by doing things others. That's fine, dude. Make a Bond movie where he's a black woman. Like, if you really want to subvert expectations, see how that works.
Just do it well. If you're going to subvert expectations, you can't just say,
You're gonna.
I'm going to subvert expectations. You have to actually do it well.
The ideology, the thing I've been trying to say, I was trying to explain it is like, if I say, hey Chris, come back here next week and I'll give you $100.
Ooh!
You come back in a week and you're like, where's my $100? And I kick you in the nuts.
Well, that subverted my expectations.
Right? That's not me being clever.
And then
That's
someone
just me-
watching that will be like, can't you see how amazing and clever that is? He subverted his expectations.
So you don't realize because he expected $100.
That
therefore-
totally subverted. You just don't get it. That's the problem. I don't think you get it.
You just don't get it. You're probably just, a right-wing Republican, misogynistic, racist.
Go vote for Trump.
Yeah, you just don't like Asians in Star Wars. What?
Ooh, that'll lead into our Marvel discussion. I'll leave that as a teaser for what I'm going to talk about.
All right, so should we cap it on Star Wars?
Do we have anything else to say? Do we have anything
with the
in closing
future.
to say?
There is the future. What do you think about Favreau picking up the series?
I don't care anymore. I don't care. It's. I don't want a Star Wars movie every year until I die, and then a Star Wars TV show to supplement that movie every year until I die. I don't give a fuck. This is like.
Burn it down, Chris.
Yeah.
Burn it all down.
This is like if Disney bought Back to the Future, and now we have to have Back to the Future
That's a good
movies and
point.
TV shows until we die, and you're like, that is a tight little trilogy that should have stayed the way it was.
Or it tops 9 movies, but it doesn't
At
look like you're
tops.
ending it at 9 movies.
I don't care anymore because, and here's the thing.
Whoa, Chris, slow down. Tell them how you really feel. How do you feel about Solo? What are your expectations?
I don't care anymore. No, but I'm going to break it down like this, is at least the prequel trilogies were some dude's vision. They sucked. They were horrible.
Yeah.
These new movies are market researched, like toy sales, McDonald's tie-in. They are not a movie. They're a product. And at least the prequels weren't a product. So Disney has...
It was artsy as shit. He tried some cool Republic, some weird,
He tried, but
government
Disney...
sci-fi movie.
They are taking a property and they are milking it from every angle except for the artistic one. They are just turning it into a product. And I don't give a fuck what happens next with Star Wars. And I think, too, I've watched so many of my childhood franchises be turned into marketing monsters. I've watched Star Trek die. I've watched Indiana Jones die. This is just another one. There's another one dying. Make new things, Hollywood. Make new things. Please write Chris Carson at I don't really care if you're offended by what I said.com.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-